And welcome back to America's Pastime with Michael McKenzie. I'm your host, Michael McKenzie. Still, really, it has been a slow trade deadline day to this point. No trades since we went on the air at 11. That's why I didn't do it at 12, but we have a few rumors, some news that could be going on. The Angels are marketing a couple pitchers in Bud Norris and David Henderson. This isn't trade deadline related, but Jeremy Guthrie has announced he is retiring from baseball after 13 seasons in the game. And also, one of the big ones, the Nationals are close, according to Josh Morrissey. Let me see if I can get this correct here. His exact tweet was that the Nationals and Twins are having ongoing discussions about a trade that could send Brandon Kinsler, Twins closer, to the Washington Nationals. So that has been the big news to this point. Also, according to him, that the Yankees and Athletics are continuing to have productive conversations on a trade that could send Sonny Gray to the New York Yankees cross country. The most likely trade I think that could happen, I think, is the Sonny Gray going to the New York Yankees, because they have been in discussions for a long time about this. If they're still not in that deal, I don't know where the heck he's going to go. But he has been doing fantastic lately. I don't know what the Yankees are going to want to give up. They're not going to be giving up Gleyber Torres or Clint Frazier. The Athletics know that they have moved on to the next tier of prospects, such as the Tyler Wades of the organization. I think that they might be willing to give up some of those players at the tiers of Tyler Wade and maybe some lower tier prospects even down from that. If you didn't listen to the last hour, it was Addison Reed who got traded to the Boston Red Sox as our first trade of the day. Last night, the Justin Wilson and Alex Avila trade to the Cubs was agreed upon. Just about 2 hours ago, the trade was announced by both teams, so that trade is completely finalized. So, really, nothing to the point. Still under 3 hours. And the hard-pushing Indians to get Zach Britton. There's some latest news on that just about an hour ago. FanRag's John Heyman tweeted that the O's remain adamant about not moving Britton without getting an elite prospect in return. The Indians might not be willing to give up a top-tier prospect as Francisco Mejia, but the O's have been steadily moving toward a trade that would send the lefty away from Baltimore. Brandon Kinsler, he's been talked about for the past few days now as one of those top players who could be moving at the deadline. Some more news from earlier this morning about the Tigers. They have drawn interest in Verlander, but there are no active talks as of this morning. With only 3 hours to go, the trade has to be finalized within the next hour due to Verlander's no-trade clause, because they need him to clarify the deal, whether he wants to leave, so that they could ask him. They have to send an email into New York or call into New York and get the trade finalized. All trades basically have to be done by maybe 3:30. If you get it done straight at 4, you're not going to be in the best position to get the trade in. The Rangers are reluctantly but willing to engage in trade talks on reliever Alex Claudio, as Jeremy Jeffress and Keon Keala are also going to be in trade talks, but they might just end up DFAing Jeffress so you can get in more deals. But Claudio's a 25-year-old southpaw. I mean, he is underrated but good relief pitcher. Claudio, if they're going to trade Darvish, I suggest hanging on to Claudio. Now, just not long ago, the Evan Grant of the Dallas Morning News suggests that the Dodgers could look to pry that lefty Alex Claudio away from the Rangers, maybe even in a package with Darvish, so that they would be willing to give up that price that they want for Yu Darvish. The Brad Hand asking price, the Padres left-hander Brad Hand, there's been talks of those this morning. There's been talks that could possibly send a trade with him. The Padres are still going to keep that asking price right where it's been, very high. I don't think they're going to get a deal done. I think that Brad Hand will remain a Padre. Some people are saying that maybe fellow pitcher Andrew Cashner could also be traded. The Rangers would be willing to give up him. Maybe even Mike Napoli, first baseman. He has not been playing. He's been playing one of the worst years in his career this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was traded. So that's really been the news to this point. But the story to this point, can't make any predictions other than Sonny Gray is getting traded. I have no clue what the heck the Rangers are going to want to do about Yu Darvish. I don't know what the Twins want to do about Brandon Kinsler. It becomes increasingly likely that they will end up trading the closer for Minnesota. But I am not 100% sure what they're going to want to do in that situation. So let's just go just to speculate a possibility. The possibility with some of the top players on the market to this point. Sonny Gray, I say yes. So with we're on MLB trade rumors right now. Top deadline day candidates, they have a list for that. I believe top 25. Gonna go down the list, say if he gets traded and why. Sonny Gray, I believe he does get traded. Yu Darvish, I also believe he does get traded. Addison Reed and Justin Wilson were the next two on the list, traded. Brandon Kinsler, I also think he will be traded. Joe Smith, reliever for the Blue Jays, not 100% sure about him yet, though. There's been no indication that there's any talks about anything involving that the Blue Jays are going to give up Joe Smith. Alex Avila and Jonathan Lucroy both already traded. Yonder Alonso, first baseman for the Athletics, I think he will be traded because the Yankees are trying to package him in a Sonny Gray deal. They've been trying to do that since last week. I don't know if they're still in talks that could get that package done, but I still expect that maybe they could be in talks to get that package done. Jed Lowry, infielder for the Athletics, I don't think he'll get traded. It's been way too quiet on his front of the trade deadline. Brad Hand, no. The asking price is way too high. Everybody's saying it's way too high. I believe it is. So I think that teams are going to back off him because it's way too high of an asking price. If they're not able to get another pitcher, maybe they'll just go with that high asking price for Hand. And then finally, Zach Britton. Yes, I think that the Indians are going to make their push. I think that they're going to acquire Zach Britton, but they're not going to be giving up Francisco Mejia, top 20 prospect, easily in the entire minor leagues. So increasing talks with Lance Lynn have actually been reported lately. The Astros are drawing interest from the righty, and the Cardinals are taking in offers from them as well. I think that Lance Lynn's moving. I think to the Astros as well. Lynn has been drawing interest for a bit. I think that they're going to have to give up a little bit for Lynn, as he's just coming 2 days ago. He was coming off the market. I'm not 100% sure he's going to get traded, but if I had to say right now, if I had to make a prediction, I say that he does get traded, as lately there's been some talks about him. Not today, but yesterday there were a whole lot of talks about maybe Lance Lynn going to the Astros, about them drawing interest, and about the Cardinals reeling in offers from the Astros for Lance Lynn. Thank you for listening to this 1 o'clock hour of America's Pastime with Michael McKenzie. It's trade deadline day. Next hour, 2 o'clock, I will be on the air. I will be on the air at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 5 o'clock. Next, for 2, 3, and 4, we will be recapping the latest rumors, deals, and analysis on the MLB trade deadline. And then at 5 o'clock, we will wrap up the day and say goodnight. But until 2 o'clock, good night.